Hello everyone, come again. Today I'll be talking about few important concepts from ITIL, especially ITIL Foundation. Right? It becomes very necessary, very important to understand these concepts before anyone gets into the service level or any further professional education for ITIL. So let's look at those concepts. Right? Share the screen. So key concepts from ITIL V4 Foundation. V4 version 4. Right? I have seen, and I've been teaching many years now, and I have seen there is a lot of ambiguity between people, between my participants about these first four key terms or key concepts. Many times people use it interchangeably, but these four terms they have complete different meaning and they need to be used accordingly. So let's understand what these things are: output, outcome, benefits, and value. Right? Output, that's a tangible or intangible deliverable of an activity. I give some inputs, some process happens, some activities are executed, and then I get the output. That in other terms that could be seen as a product of my activity. Right? What my activities they deliver, and it could be tangible or intangible. So, for example, a car, a four-wheeler, a vehicle, or maybe household appliances like your refrigerator, air conditioner. These are the examples from our day-to-day life. Those are all tangible outputs. Correct. Then we use the WhatsApp services. We use car hire services like Uber or food delivery services. So those applications. Those are the intangible outputs. Then comes the outcome. Now, that is a result for a stakeholder enabled by one or more outputs. Now, when I get the output, let's say I'm a stakeholder, I'm the user, I'm the consumer, and I get some output. Now, when I get that output, I will be able to achieve something, to perform something. Right? I'll be enabled to do some activities. Some capabilities will be added. That is my outcome. So with Uber application, I am able to book the car. To be able to book the car is my outcome. The benefit is nothing but an advantage or useful effect that something has. Now, remember one point here, which clearly differentiates between the benefits and the value. Whenever we say benefits, whatever is that advantage, whatever is that profit in terms of the financials, or whatever is that usefulness that what we get, like we have the Uber app and we are able to book the cab, and that helps me. That is very useful for me to travel from one place to another in a given time. So that is my benefit. But the point that we have to remember here is whenever you use the term benefit, you have to quantify it. Okay. Without the quantification, it will not be considered as a benefit. So benefit is always quantified. On the opposite side, the value will always be perceived. It is a perceived benefit, usefulness, and importance of something. So I can say, I find Uber application very useful. I find WhatsApp very useful for communicating with my friends and family members. Now, in this statement, I am only saying that I find it useful. I am not saying how much use. Okay. So this is my value. Someone else may feel that no, WhatsApp is not something what I like. I like Telegram more. Right? So that is the perceived usefulness of that mobile application, chat application for the other person. Right? So value can be expressed as qualitative, most of the times value will be expressed as a qualitative. You may include the numbers, the quantity also in the value, but not necessary. It can be only your emotion, it can be only your feeling, it can be how you perceive the things. Right? But opposite to that, benefits always should be quantified. Now, these are the four basic terms or the concepts which we start with in ITI. Right? Then ITIL talks about value co-creation, and the way it defines it is like creation of value with the collaboration between service provider, service consumer, and other stakeholders in the service value chain. So we'll be going through all these terminologies as we progress. But remember, value will always be co-created. A single person, a single organization, a single function or a department within the enterprise, they cannot create the value on their own. For example, let's say HR, there's a HR function in every organization. Now, can HR create the value for the employees of the organization? Can HR deliver the benefits on their own without any other stakeholders from any other department, maybe internal or external, like their suppliers, partners? They will need support from IT. They will need support from administration department. They will need support from their service providers. So any function, any person, any organization on its own cannot create a value. They will need they will need to collaborate, and the value will be co-created through their collaboration. Okay? So remember, across the service industry, it is the co-creation, it is the collaboration through which you deliver the value for your consumers, clients, and other stakeholders. Okay? Now, ITIL defines very interestingly what is an organization. The most common understanding of the word organization is when somebody says organization, it is considered as an enterprise, as a company with many people, small or large, but then more than one person. But the definition of the organization is a little bit different. It says a person or a group of people. So please pay attention. A person also can be considered as an organization. So what is it, or what are those factors which defines an organization? Okay. So a person or a group of people that has its own functions with responsibilities, authorities, and relationships to achieve its objectives. That is an organization. Consider an example, say the large IT giants like Accenture, Capgemini, TCS. We all know these company names, and we know those are the large IT players, multinational players. Now, these companies, they have these different functions. They have these different departments: HR, administration, facilities, finance, tax department, delivery department. So many, different departments and a complex structure of this organization. So yes, those are the organizations. Against that, you consider someone like me who is a freelance trainer, consultant. So I'm an individual. Okay? Or consider any, say, chartered accountant who works on their own and provide the professional services. Okay? So we don't have employees, we don't have different departments, but then still we fit into the definition of an organization. As a person, as an individual, we fit into the definition of organization. Why and how? Because we also have these functions. In my case, I go and I sell my services, I sell my expertise, I do the business development work, I manage my own finances, I decide when I can take the leave, when I should not take the leave, I do the deliveries. So, though I'm an individual, I have my own functions, I have my own responsibilities, I have my own authorities, and hence I am an organization by the definition. Okay? Many times I've seen, when I ask the question, what is an organization? There's a confusion or ambiguity by participants. So, this is another important concept from ITIL to remember. Then comes the word service now. and ITIL is based upon the service. What is this service? Service is a means of enabling value co-creation by facilitating outcomes that customers want to achieve. Right? So let's say what customers want to achieve. A customer may want to have a mobile handset which will help them increase their productivity, office productivity. So that is the outcome that they are looking at. Okay. So how this service, how this service can be provided. So, for example, let's take the name of Samsung. Now, Samsung understands this is the expected outcome. This is the demand, right? And then Samsung designs a mobile device which will help to achieve this. Now, can Samsung as an organization deliver it on their own? No, they will need suppliers, they will need contractors, they will need partners, they will need employees. Again, they will need or there will be different functions within Samsung who will come together and they will co-create this this new handset design which will help their customers to achieve the higher office productivity and so that they will be able to achieve their outcome. Now, there is the further part to this definition. While customer achieves the outcome, the service provider needs to keep in mind that no specific cost or risk should be passed on to the customer. How is the service or how the service should be without the customer having to manage specific costs and risks. Because as a service provider, if I'm offering some services, I should not be passing the cost of these services or the risk through these services to my customer. One example is everybody uses net banking or mobile banking features. Now, if the bank says that the risk of cyber attack or your account getting hacked is completely with you, we be will not be liable to take any precautions or build our platforms with all the security measures in place. The risk is completely with the users. Would you like to use that net banking or mobile banking services from that bank? In all the possibility, all the likelihood, it is no, you won't use it because you want the bank also to play their part as a service provider. Right? So while we create a service, while any service provider creates a service, they have to remember that the specific cost and risk should not be passed on to the customer. Right? Now, how the service will be delivered? Through the product. Then what is a product? It is a configuration of an organization's resources designed to offer value for a customer. Now, you might be watching this video on a laptop or maybe mobile. If I ask you what is the configuration of your laptop, you will tell me, okay, 14-inch screen, 8 GB RAM, full keyboard, 2 USB ports, 2 HDMI port, all the different things. Similarly, if I ask you what is the configuration of your mobile handset, you will be able to tell me the different configuration. Now, that is exactly how the product is created. Organizations' resources are brought in together. Now, here, when the term resources is being used across ITIL, please remember it is the combination of human resources and non-human resources, material resources as well. All those are the organization's resources. So even the office premises, even the tables, chairs, everything that is within your office, they are all organization's resources, including the people, their skills, their competencies. Your software licenses, your hardware provided, everything is organization's resource. So the organization will configure these resources in a particular way which will help the consumer to get the value. And that will be through the product. A particular configuration will be the product. So if you remember your first laptop and if you look at your current laptop, the configuration will be very different. So that's my product. Then comes process. To create a product, there will be certain process to be followed. To achieve something, there will be certain process to be followed. If you want to apply for a leave, there is a certain process. There are certain steps to be followed. So what is the process? It is a set of interrelated or interacting activities that transform inputs into outputs. So you give some inputs and you expect some outputs from. Okay. In between, there are a lot of steps, lot of interrelated or interacting activities which will be performed. Okay. The next concept is service provider. So organizations who deliver services are referred to as service providers. Whichever organization provides the services, that is a service provider. So all our social media platforms, they are the service providers. The railways department, your different airlines, every such organization is a service provider organization. Then who are the service consumers? So there are three different types or categories under the service consumer. So it could be the customer. This is the person who defines the requirement for a service and takes responsibility for the outcomes of service consumption. Let's say, let's say a bank now wants to develop their mobile banking platform. So there will be somebody who will define the requirements for this mobile banking platform. So that will be the customer. Then there is a user who will use those services through the mobile banking platform. Okay. And there will be the sponsor, a person who will authorize the budget, the commercials, the financials for the service consumption. How those services will be consumed, what will be the charges, what will be the budget to build those. That part will be taken care by the sponsor. Now, these three types or these three different roles under service consumer, they can be within the same organization, they can be from different organizations, they can be individuals, they can be group of people. Many a times these roles will be overlapping also, like a single team maybe playing all these three or more than one of these three. Those are my service consumers. So service consumer is a more generic term. When you say customer or user or sponsor, you are being more specific. Then the next is a service offering. By ITIL definition, it says a formal description of one or more services designed to address the needs of a target consumer group. Right? These service offerings can be goods, access to resources, and service actions. Now, if you look at Google, Google offers email service, Google offers storage service, Google offers uh, online meeting platform. So there are many such services which Google offers under single umbrella. Correct? So those different services, when they are put under the single umbrella, that will be the service offering by Google as a service provider. Right? Of course, Google offers their laptops, their handsets, mobile handsets. So those are the goods. Google gives you the access to its resources. So for example, Gmail is like giving the access to the resources of Google, the hard disk space that we use when we use the Gmail or when we use Drive. That is Google giving you the access to their resources. That is also a service. And Google supports you. Google allows you to increase the storage limit. Google allows you to print the emails, forward it. So there are different service actions. Google also has this workspace solutions, entire enterprise level solutions. So they provide the service support also, which will fall under the service actions. Then there is a very interesting concept of service relationship. Now, in a service relationship, what happens is every organization will take some services, will take some products from some other organization. They will tailor it, customize it, build on top of it, take the portion of it, and then they will create their own service offer. Right? And this will continue. So, service relationship, it says a cooperation between a service provider and service consumer. Service relationships include service provision, service consumption, and service relationship. We'll get back to this service relationship for further more key concepts or definitions. Okay. What do you mean by service provisioning? Activities performed by an organization to provide the services. So Google setting up their email account, their servers and their software products, which will help you to create your own email accounts and manage it and the drive space, etc. So WhatsApp providing you that mobile app through which you can communicate, you can exchange the text messages, you can have the video calls, and a lot of other features. So that is service provisioning. WhatsApp is provisioning. WhatsApp is giving you the mobile application. Google is giving you URLs through which you will be able to create the IDs, will be able to use it, use their service offerings. Then whatever is the service is provision, we as the service consumers, we are consuming it. So activities performed by an organization to consume the services. So I'm using those services, the services which are provision, I'm using those services. So that is my service consumption. Then comes the service relationship management. So these are the joint activities performed by a service provider and a service consumer to ensure continual value co-creation based on agreed and available service offerings. Again, the provider and the consumer, they come together and they co-create the value based on agreed and available service offerings. So under Google, you have some certain service offerings available. If you shift to the Microsoft platform, you will have something different. So just one example could be like there is Google Form, and we create those forms for surveys, for quizzes, etc. Similarly, if you look at Microsoft, Microsoft also provides Microsoft Forms. Again, you can create it for the or use it for the creating quizzes or some feedback forms, survey forms. Both these organizations, they are providing services. Then the cost, the amount of money spent on specific activity or resource. So the cost more from the service provider side. So to configure a resource as a part of a service or to achieve some specific activity, right, to develop that service offering, there will be some amount of money that the provider needs to spend. Resource cost, maybe human resource cost, maybe material cost, maybe software license cost, hardware cost, networking cost. There could be many such different types of cost. Then comes the risk. So while this service is being provisioned, there will be risks. What is a risk? It is a possible event that could cause harm or loss or make it more difficult to achieve the objectives. What is the objective of, say, net banking platform? The objective is to enable the consumer to perform banking transactions online using the internet and the web interfaces. That's the objective. Now, if your server is down, if your net banking portal, net banking application server is down, or when it goes down, because that's a possible event, right? There will be the harm or loss for your consumer, right? They will not be able to achieve their objective of being able to perform the banking transactions using your net banking. So that is a risk. So as a service provider, as a bank, if I look at it, then if there's a high load of users accessing my net banking portal, and if the server goes down, if the server stops performing, then my consumers will not be able to access those services, and that is a risk to my business. If this happens frequently, definitely the consumers would not like to continue with my banking or online banking services. So that is a risk that I see to my business. This can also be defined as an uncertainty of outcome. So the risk is something like a possible event. It may or may not occur, but there is a possibility it may occur, there is a possibility it may not occur. So there is an uncertainty of the outcome. and can be used in the context of measuring the probability of positive outcomes as well as negative. So, though in the first line of the definition, it talked about the harm or the loss. Remember, risk can also be positive. That is called as an opportunity, and the negative risk is called as a threat. Right? So, a possibility of an opportunity or gaining something. Okay? And that is a possibility. So again, there is uncertainty and the possibility with the uncertainty involved of something negative. That is a threat. Okay? That is referred as the risk. Then there are these two concepts which are very important from ITIL and from the service industry perspective. One is utility, second one is warranty. So now let's look at this. What is utility? The functionality offered by a product or service to meet a particular need. That is the utility. So it is the functionality. Now, what is the functionality? Through WhatsApp, I'll be able to send text messages, images, files. I can do the video calls. These are all the different features. These are all the different functionalities offered by WhatsApp as a product. Okay, and this will get classified as the chat services or communication, online communication services, which will be helpful to fulfill a lot of needs or demands or requirements of the customers. So utility tells us what the service does. So WhatsApp helps me to send the text messages, files, images, videos, capture the videos, have the video calls. All that is what WhatsApp does. So that is those are the utilities, functions, features. Okay? And that tells me whether the service is fit for the purpose or not. If I want to manage my projects better, then I cannot use WhatsApp because then it is not fit for purpose. In that case, I will have to use some other tools like Microsoft Project Professional or Jira or Trello, Asana. There are so many other tools. But for the communication services, yes, my WhatsApp is fit for purpose. So this is one part of the story. The other part of the story will tell us how the service performs, whether my service is fit for use or not. Right? So that is warranty. So warranty is the assurance that a product or a service will meet agreed requirements. Through Amazon web portal or Amazon app, what is the agreement? The agreement between the consumer and Amazon is through this platform, the consumer will be able to purchase the item. Okay. Select the items and make the payment, and Amazon will deliver. That is a very, in a very layman's term, that is the agreement. Now, the warranty is like how this service performs, how Amazon delivers it. If Amazon promises that yes, the agreement is that we will deliver it within 24 hours, whether they are able to deliver it or not. That is what something will tell you how the service of Amazon is performed. And then you will decide whether it is fit for use. If I want to deliver something to my friend, right? And if I book that particular item from Amazon with the promise that it will be delivered within 24 hours, whether it is really delivered or not, that will tell me whether Amazon is fit for use or not. That is the warranty. So fit for purpose, fit for use, utility, warranty, features, functionalities, and assurance part. These are the two sides of any service, and very, very, very key, very important concepts under the ITIL or for any service. Now, while we are talking about all these outcomes, outputs, stakeholders, service offerings, this, for whom we are doing this and who all are involved in creating, those are my stakeholders. A person or organization that has an interest or involvement in an organization, product, service, practice, or other entity. That is my stakeholder. In other words, the stakeholder also is defined as any person or organization who directly or indirectly either are impacting my products or services or getting impacted by my products or services in a positive way or in a negative way, or they just perceive that they are getting impacted. Everybody is my stakeholder. So remember, your stakeholders are not only your immediate teams or your organization people. The definition of the stakeholder, the coverage of the stakeholder is much wider. Let's move ahead. Now there is a concept by the name baseline. What is a baseline? Um, let's say whenever you travel, like you take a flight, okay, and you will get all the details like the flight takes off at this time, the flight duration is so and so hours, and then the flight will land at your destination at so and so time. Now, when you actually take the flight, your flight may get delayed by half an hour to take the off from ground, correct? And then you will say that, oh, my flight was delayed by half an hour. Now, how do you say this is delayed? You are saying this is delayed because you're comparing it with the baseline, and maybe the baseline was set up at, say, the flight will take off at 6 o'clock, but then it actually took off at 6:30. So your baseline was 6 o'clock, but the actual was 6:30. So you're comparing your actual with your baseline. And this is applied everywhere. You can create the baseline for time, cost, quality, scope, everything. So by definition, it says a report or a metric that serves as a starting point against which progress or change can be assessed. It was scheduled to take off at 6 o'clock, but then actually it took off at 6:30. Half an hour delay, half an hour delayed from the baseline. This is an important concept in project management, but yes, equally important, equally applicable everywhere, including any of your IT enabled services. Then comes a business case. It is a justification for expenditure of organizational resources. Why should I create this service? Why should I support this service? Why should I deliver this service? Why should I take up any product? Why should I create a particular product? So the answer to the why will be there in the business case. But not only that, it will also have all the information about the costs, benefits, options, risk, and issues. So together, against a particular scope for a particular cost, what is my return on investment or appraisal of my investment, and what are the risk and issues that I may encounter? When this holistic view is created, when this holistic view is taken, that is nothing but my business case. Then comes the capability. Ability of an organization, person, process, application, configuration item, or IT service as a whole to carry out an activity. That is my capability. Can I lift 50 kgs? Maybe not. So I'm not capable to lift 50 kgs. But can I lift 10 kg weights? Yes, I can lift 10 kg weights. So my capability is 10 kg. Can I do the Java coding? Yes, then I'm a Java coder. That is my capability. Correct? Can I deliver the training in the project management? Yes, I can. Then I have that capability. But can I deliver a training in say Python? Oh, that is not my capability. It is an ability to carry out an activity. Then there is a very important concept, continual improvement. And please remember this word continual. The next point is continual versus continuous. So I'll be taking these two together. So what is a continual improvement? The practice of aligning an organization's practices and services with changing business needs through the ongoing identification and improvement of all elements involved in the effective management of products and services. We'll make their definition. Let's try to split and understand it better. So while I'm managing, while I'm supporting, while I'm creating new products, new services, new service offerings, what I need to remember is, and not only the new ones, but if I'm making a change into the existing ones, what I need to remember is everything can be improved and everything should be improved. Be it a person capabilities, be it the product features, be it the service functionalities, anything and everything can be improved. Right? So the practice of aligning an organization's practices and services, whatever the different practices that we have within the organization, and the services that organization delivers. With changing business needs, those need to be improved, those need to be changed, those need to be upscaled or aligned with whatever that type of change is. It could be technological, it could be people related change. So to align it with that, that is my continual improvement. Now, coming back to the word continual, remember ITIL, or for that matter, the best practices will always talk about the continual improvement. Okay, many times people find this ambiguity between continual and continuous. Okay. So what is the difference between these two? For continual, when we do the continual improvement initiative, when we run that, what we do is we improve a particular area. Let's say a practice, a process, some people skills, some product, some service offering, service features. We improve that in a progressive, iterative manner. We improve it, and then we let it settle. We see, we observe, we take the feedback on how it is performing with the changes, with the improvement. And then we go for the next level of improvement. Right? So this blue line, what you see on the graph, the improvement has happened, then there is a flat line. We are settling there. We are taking the feedback there. We are observing how the actual performance of that improvement is. Whereas in case of continuous, it's a line, it's a straight line. We don't wait to take this feedback. We don't take this pause. We keep on improving, and both these approaches, they have their pros and cons. That's a different thing. The point to remember here, especially from ITIL foundation perspective, is ITIL refers everywhere the continual improvement. ITIL recommends strongly the continual improvement. Okay, so build it with the feedback, build it iteratively, build it progressively. That's what ITIL recommends us. Then there is an interesting term of CX or UX. This is the sum of functional and emotional interactions with a service and service provider as perceived by the service consumer. Customer experience or consumer experience or user experience. Again, there are different opinions that different people, different organizations they carry, and how they see what a customer experience is and what a user experience is. But this is about how the service consumer perceives the service provider and the services provided. Correct. Sometimes it could be about a single feature or functionality of a service, or it could be about the complete broad spectrum of the service offerings provided, or about the service provider. So we have this kind of different opinions about the different services. Some people may find Uber as a good service provider, or providing some good services. Some people may find Ola as better than that. Some people may find other local players in the market. Similarly, some people may find Telegram is a better chat application, or some people may say, no, WhatsApp is very easy and I like WhatsApp. So how is their experience that will define their perception about the service and service provider through the interactions, through the functional interactions, through the emotional interactions with the service provider and the service. That will define my customer experience or user experience. Then comes the value streams. Now, another term, ITIL, which carries a lot of weightage. Okay. It is a series of steps an organization undertakes to create and deliver products and services to consumers. But how are these steps? These are cleaned up steps. Okay, these are optimized steps. If you look at any business process, let's say under the loan services for a bank, there are so many different processes are there. Loan application, then loan sanction, loan dispersal, loan closure. So these are different subparts, but they are under the umbrella of loan as a service. Right? If you go still further down, then there will be a lot of drilling down that is possible, and then at the end you will reach to the very minute or detailed level activities. Now, when these activities are cleaned up, any waste, any redundancy is removed, and when you redefine these processes, series of steps, that will be the value stream. Then comes the supplier, a stakeholder responsible for providing services that are used by an organization. Supplier is somebody who will uh, provide the services, and this could be the services in terms of providing the human capital or providing any actual tangible products or intangible products or any other services to build something. Okay. Then there is this service value system and the service value chain. So a model representing how all the components and activities of an organization work together to facilitate service value creation. That is my service value system. And service value chain is a part of my service value system. SVS and SVC. Important terms in ITIL from the perspective of ITIL. What is service value chain? It is an operating model that outlines the key activities. So this is service value chain will have the key activities. So there are key activities like planning, engagement, obtain or build, delivery of the product or service, then designing and transition. So there are different uh, activities which are part of service value chain. And keeping this service value chain activities at the center, they will get applied to your product or a service. Right? In addition to the guiding principles, to the different elements of your service value system, you will be able to deliver the value. So again, remember, service value system and service value chain, they go hand in hand. In fact, service value chain is a part of your service value system. Then comes the service request. A request from a user or user's authorized representative that initiates a service action which has been agreed as a normal part of service delivery. A very simple example is in your organization, your network password or your network ID gets locked. Now, even to raise the service ticket or service request, you will not be able to. So somebody on your behalf will raise a service request, and then your service desk team or service support team or IT support team, whatever the name you may have, that team will help you to resolve the issue to unlock your ID. So that is nothing but a service request. When you join new to some organization, you will need the laptop, you will need, say, mobile phone, you will need a desk to sit. So you will be raising this service request. You will need access to a particular folder. All these are the services. If you decide to shift your Google free account to your Google Workspace, you will make a request with Google. That's a service request. Then service offering, a formal description of one or more services designed to address the needs of a target consumer group. For Uber, their target consumer group is the people who are traveling from point A to point B. For Uber, they offer the cab on hire kind of services. Do they offer only that? No. They sometime back they used to offer the food during your travel time. They also offer different types, like going from point A to point B, or taking halts in between, or booking the cab for fixed duration or fixed number of kilometers, or fixed distance that you travel. So those all are different service offerings under the same umbrella. So a service offering again may include goods, access to resources. and service action. Then service level agreement, a documented agreement between a provider and a customer that identifies both services required and the expected level of service. Your service level agreement SLA from your bank side is the net banking platform will be up and available for 99% of the time. That is what the bank as a service provider agreeing, and that agreement is being documented. Correct. So that is my service level agreement. Then service level agreement for that matter. Sorry, I missed one point. So service level agreement many times becomes a term in the contract, and it is legally binding to the service provider. Right? So it is from the legal perspective. This is a very important. And then there is service desk. It is the point of communication between the provider and all its users. We all know that we all use the service desk. It could be a telephone line, it could be an email, it could be a physical center to provide the services. Absolutely. So thank you so much for being with me, and I tried to cover some of the key concepts from ITIL 4. I'm very sure you'll find it useful, and for any further queries, any further questions, feel free to reach out. I have your contact details there. Thank you so much.